By the way, our patron, John the Evangelist, tells today's gospel story, you'd think it was mission accomplished. It's the night before Jesus dies, and he's summarizing his whole life and its meaning. Jesus is praying, and he says to his Father, I glorified you on earth by finishing the work you gave me to do. So now, Father, glorify me in your own presence with the glory I had in your presence before the world existed. You'd think Jesus had lived his life from one glory to another. And if that's what John is trying to say here, then I'd like to know what he was smoking when he wrote these words. Because by most accounts, Jesus' life was not what you would call a glorious success. The religious elite did not accept his message. One of his disciples betrayed him, another denied him, the rest fled. He was executed with criminals, mocked by both soldiers and priests, abandoned and alone, his body writhing in pain. This is the social truth. These are the facts of Jesus' life. And it's not a pretty picture, certainly not one of glorious accomplishment. It might have been different had he died pain-free in the fullness of years, with trophies lining the fireplace mantel, applauded by all his contemporaries, with family and friends all gathered around the bed, and leaving an abundant inheritance. That we would consider an accomplished life. But that is hardly the story of Jesus. So this passage opens the question of how to measure a life. Deep down, what does a successful life look like? My guess is John in this gospel is pushing us to measure our lives not in the social and economic terms we normally use, but in spiritual terms. Measuring life in such spiritual terms requires some radical rethinking about life and about what constitutes success. Because life is not about the length of days or the magnitude of accomplishments or money. There's the story of Alexander the Great, who, after he conquered all the known world, sat atop his horse one day and wept because there was nothing left to conquer. At our deepest level, we are spiritual creatures, and our hearts cannot be fully satisfied by the number of our accomplishments or toys or kudos. Our mission in this life is to release divine love into the world. This is the criterion by which we are to measure a successful life, by how we love. Maybe you saw the Facebook photo of 23-year-old Taliesin Mirdan Namkai Mesh. I'm sure I've just butchered his name, but anyway. He's a recent graduate of Reed College in Portland. The photo shows a smiling young man with flowing red hair, a mortarboard on his head, and wearing his graduation gown, just setting out on his adult life. Next to the photo, his mother posted these words: "My dear baby boy passed on yesterday while protecting 2 young Muslim girls from a racist man on a train in Portland. He was a hero and will remain a hero on the other side of the veil. Shining bright star, I love you forever." Taliesin, along with 2 other men, had come to the defense of two teenage girls, one black, the other Muslim wearing a hijab. The assailant pulled out a knife and stabbed all three of the defenders, including Taliesin, killed him and one other man. Taliesin's considerable potential for contributing to the world was only partially realized. How can we say of such a life, it is finished, it is complete? I know almost nothing about Taliesin, the young man in Portland, but from a spiritual perspective, his death was an hour of revelation, a moment when God's love was released into the world. That young man's life, like that of Jesus, was so short, with so many dreams left undone, and yet, on the deepest level, his life was a complete success because, like Jesus, Taliesin loved. He accomplished what he was sent here for. He loved. Each of us is a beloved child close to the heart of God. This is our deepest identity, who we are at the core, beloved children of God. And the adventure of life is to live out this identity. This identity may shine out once or many times, but whenever we live out this identity, whenever we release love into the world, whether at the hour of death, like Taliesin, or at any other hour, whenever we release love into the world, it is divine revelation. We have in that moment accomplished the work we were sent here to do. As strange as the words of Jesus' prayer may sound at first, they're words that our hearts eagerly await. They reflect something more than the usual measures of success our culture offers. The prayer of Jesus in today's gospel shows a hidden spiritual reality that is difficult to see amid the rat race and the noise of our social lives. That each of us, every person, is a mission of love, meant to stir love in others. When this happens, God is glorified. The mission is accomplished. Life is complete. Can we believe this?